I have something to say. Project Shadow starts now.
Hello, how are you doing today? I am doing what will hopefully be a more regular live recording of the podcast today. So, while I will be looking over at the chat, while I will be engaging with you primarily after I do some of the recording stuff, I am at least initially just going to be talking and getting all of this down. I'm hoping to do this more regularly, find ways to incorporate you all more into the process of doing the podcast. I just thought it would be fun to actually record live and see how this works for me. Because, well, I used to record the podcast live back in the day through TalkShoe, and it has been a while since I have done that, and I'm a little rusty, which is weird because I stream a lot. I stream a lot. So you'd think I'd be a little bit better at it and a little bit more prepared, but I'm not. So what I'm going to be doing right now is going into the recording. I'm going to introduce myself again for the actual recording of the podcast, and we're just going to get started. Okay? Today's a bit of a heavy topic. I don't think I need to put any trigger warnings in. I'm not going to be getting that heavy in what we're doing, but it's going to be a little bit of a heavier topic today. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And hello, Carrie. There's been a lot going on inside my skull lately, and for anybody who's been following me on the streams, I'm sure you've noticed. I'm sure you've seen that, I've been a little bit different and a little bit not as with it and as energetic as I have been. And that's because I've been facing down my personal version of imposter syndrome, which is feeling like an utter failure as a human being, as a creative person, just as a failure in life. And I have learned a lot about fighting this over the years, and I just wanted to talk to you all today about how to get through all of that, because it's a lot. So, hello everyone. My name is Charlie. I'm a non-binary sci-fi fantasy writer who is currently working on 2 Vela projects, Blinded Angels and the Shadow Phoenix project, the Shadow Phoenix saga, and I'm really kind of nervous to be talking about this. I've actually recorded a video on this topic earlier in this week, and I didn't like it, and I deleted it. I completely just erased it from the interwebs and from my mind because the darkness was too strong in me, and I was not in a place to actually be talking. So what has been going on? My mind is a very dark place and has been a lot over time. I am very prone to seeing myself as a failure. I set very high goals for myself. I have very high milestones that I want to reach. I'm getting older, which is also not helpful in all of this. And I keep having those thoughts creep through my head of, I didn't think this is where I was going to be at this point in my life. And none of that is healthy. None of that is good. But as tends to happen over the weekend, I just had this kind of like water balloon crack in my head. This kind of just, I'm a failure. I failed at everything I've ever done. And my mind started going down the litany of failed relationships that I've had, failed friendships that I've had, book projects that never went anywhere, all of the things that I've done over the course of my life, and just listed everything bad. everything wrong, everything that I've ever done that has not lived up to either my standards or that has not contributed to get me to some imaginary place that I thought I would be at this point in my life. And it was really hard to get out of that place. It was very difficult to get out of that mindset because it had me. It just grabbed me, and it was like feeling its claws digging deep into my soul. And it oddly felt comforting because there was a part of me that just thought, if I admit that I am a failure, if I admit that I have not succeeded at anything, and I will never succeed at anything, that takes all the burden off. It was like a strange, cold, icy blanket that was trying to lull me to sleep, that was trying to get me to a place in my mind where I could just give up. And I started thinking about it. Like, maybe I should delete the podcast. I haven't been recording episodes at the rate that I would like to because of various other things going on in life. I should just delete the podcast. Well, if I'm going to do that, I should just get rid of the YouTube channel. I mean, what's the point of having the YouTube channel? I mean, you like making videos, but you're not good at it. And I mean, you're not seeing growth. You're not, the engagement isn't where it used to be. You've just failed at that. So maybe you should get rid of the YouTube channels too. And why are you trying this music thing? Like, you're in your 40s. Like, nobody's ever going to care. And see, that was the one where it went too far. That was the one step way too far, because I don't do music for other people. I do music for me. It's how I unwind. It's how I relax. So yeah, I want people to like my books. I want people to like the videos. I want people to enjoy the streams. I want all of that to grow. I would like that to be my business and my income and all of that. But my brain messed up when it talked about the music, because the music isn't there for any of that. Doubt is a monster. Doubt is a demon that creeps into your head and tells you, well, maybe not. And see, that's what's seductive about it. The seduction comes in with this, well, maybe. Because you see, fear you recognize right off the bat. When fear comes your way, it's really easy to see it coming because you get those icy prickles in your chest. Your breathing changes, your heart rate changes. You feel fear coming, and you know in your mind this is fear. When anxiety comes in, again, you feel your heart rate change. You feel the changes in your body that come along with it, and you know this is anxiety. Doubt, on the other hand, is far more insidious, because doubt can cloak itself in reason. Doubt can cloak itself in rationalism. And see, this is what all of my fears were doing. They had come in, this demon of doubt. Well, I mean, is this the story? I mean, have you gone too far? I mean, is it really that Kindle Vella doesn't have a large readership, or are you just making excuses for your story not performing well? Is the podcast not really a priority for you? Is it not growing anymore because you've just become boring, because you don't have the stories that people want to hear, that you're not talking about topics that are good? Are you just too laid back and you just need to give in to that aggression, that hostility that will cause people to start talking about you because, oh, did you hear what Charlie said? And see, those doubts are insidious because they sound like something rational. They sound like something that I should be doing in my regular meetings, figuring out what it is I'm doing. They sound like they have purpose, but they don't. They don't. No, I shouldn't change everything about who I am to appeal to a larger audience, because that's painful. Doing the work that I do involves a lot of emotional labor as it is, and to have to pretend to be somebody else, And not only to pretend to be somebody else, but to be that kind of a person that would just go after people for reasons of getting the clicks and stuff. That's not me. That's not who I am. But when my mind started going about my doubts about my music, like, am I talented enough? Am I good enough? Will anybody ever like it? Will it ever chart? Will it ever get playlisted? Oh, like I said, that's where it went too far, because those doubts make no sense. See, music is what I do to unwind. Like I said earlier, it's what I do to relax. And that's when I got to unmask the demon. You see, these weren't rational thoughts about how I'm running my business. These weren't rational thoughts about how I'm doing my podcasting, my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, all of that. These were just that stupid demon of doubt coming in, looking me in the face and going, I'm your business manager. Let me. No, 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 no. That was a lie. That was all a lie. And it showed itself being a lie when it took that one extra step. I don't really care if people like the music. I just put it out there so people can listen to it if they want to, because I talk about doing it. The fact that it's on Spotify, the fact that it can make money, I don't care. So when this pretense of business rationalism started talking about it, I could see through everything that it was talking about. Does it really matter about the reads? I don't think so, because the reads are low, but I've actually been able to talk to a lot of the people that have been reading the book. And I know what they think about it, and I know how they feel about it. And that means I'm starting to develop a readership. That means I'm starting to develop an audience. That means I'm actually inching towards my real goals. Oh, the demon. It lied. It lied. Which is kind of what demons do. Doubt is a persistent threat to our creative process. It's something that we have to look for, that we have to see when it comes into our lives and just smack down. But the demon of doubt rarely comes alone. See, it usually comes with a couple dragons with it. Now, I'm one of those people who has a penchant for quoting dead philosophers, and, it's who I am. But this is one of the few places where I feel like Nietzsche is really helpful here. Because we will face those dragons that he talked about. Those horrific dragons called thou shalt. Because doubt always comes with the dragons. Because if doubt isn't able to get control over us, well, the demon knows that the dragons can knock us down. So what is the dragon thou shalt? What is this? This is all of the rules, all of the things that we've been told in our life. Thou shalt do this and thou shalt not do that. All of those rules, all of those regulations, all of those things that have been imposed on us, on our creativity, on our writing, on our life, on our morality, all of those things gather up into this wonderful demon who walks around, this dragon at the side of doubt, who, when doubt isn't working, he points over to the dragon and says, yes, but were you? And starts quoting all of those rules as if they were holy scripture, as if they were writ. You start looking at the work that you're doing and going, well, maybe I didn't. Well, if only I could have. Well, and now the doubt gets to sink its claws into us deeper, because the rules that we've picked up over time, the rules that we've started engaging with and taking to heart, well, now they're being turned against us. And instead of tools that help us carve our stories and carve our worlds into being, now they're blades that are cutting into us. They're talons on the claws of the dragon, digging deep into our skin, into our soul, into our heart, keeping us from understanding what we should be doing, keeping us from understanding what we're actually doing. And that's the problem. You see, Nietzsche tells us that we are to slay the dragon thou shalt. We are to slay them. And in slaying the dragon, we become the child, a wheel rolling from its own center. And that's key. You see, we have to learn to internalize these rules. We have to learn how to take all of these ideas, all of these stories that we've been told, all of these rules, and internalize them. An external rule is not power, but an internalized action is. You see, this is how we slay the dragon. You see, I learned story structure. I know story structure inside and out. It's hard for me to tell a story that doesn't have structure because I practiced and I practiced and I practiced, and those structures are just built in me now. So all of those rules, they're meaningless. And you can look at them in the eye and tell them that they have no power over you, and they weaken slightly. Every one of those rules, once you've actually taken it in, you've learned how it should actually work in your fiction, work in your stories, work in your life. Well, it takes one tool out of doubt's toolbox, one talon away from the dragon thou shalt, and gives you strength to stand on your own. You see, I know what makes a good character. I know what makes a good story. I know how to market those stories. You see, the real problem is doing the marketing, finding the energy, the effort, the time to do the marketing that all of this requires. Those are the real problems. It's not the stories. And I'm not saying this to kind of toot my own horn. I went through the beta reader process. I went through the editorial process. My editors would have told me. You see, I know where the problems are. All of those other things are distractions. You see, Joseph Campbell always said, if you find it easy to walk through your life, you're walking on somebody else's path. And that's the thing. We are walking off into the jungle. Every one of us, especially those of us in indie publishing, we are walking off onto our own path, and we have to cut that path ourselves. We can do it together. We can help each other out. But in the end, the path is ours. If we're not willing to walk it and to fight our way through, to slay those dragons, we're never going to get where we want to get. Don't fight the dragon. Don't fight doubt. You know, if there's one thing that I can help you internalize in all of the struggles that I've had with these, fighting them is the problem. And that may sound backwards. That may sound like the wrong thing to do. So what do I do then? Just give up? No. You see, doubt is a distraction. That dragon that we've been talking about, those thou shalts, they're distractions. That voice in your head telling you to read your outline for the 5 millionth time, distraction. That voice inside your head telling you, I need to edit this book for the 9 billionth time, distraction. That instinct that you have that, maybe I just need to do new character profiles and maybe just rewrite the whole thing. Distraction. All of these doubts are distractions. They're resistance. They're that thing inside of us that is trying to keep us from what we want most. It's a natural reaction. It's who we are and it's how we operate. And you need to learn to see this. You see, the doubts aren't real. The whole point of them is to keep me from going forward, because going forward means going deeper into that dark jungle where I don't know what's there. Well, that's scary. But we've already talked about how we can kind of see fear coming. So fear is not going to help keep us out for the most part. So the doubts creep in. And if the doubts can cause us to worry, and the worry can cause us to be like, well, maybe I should just camp here forever. Maybe I should just set up camp here and work on my character profiles and work on my this and work on my that. And you're not moving forward. You're not moving deeper into that dark wood. You're not going out there into the places that challenge you. And that's what resistance is all about. See, there's some people out there that try to tell you that resistance is that thing that tries to keep you from your goals. No, it doesn't care about your goals. It cares about the discomfort that you are going to experience on the path to achieving those goals. Stephen Pressfield, in his wonderful book, The War of Art, talks a lot about writer's resistance. We show up for work. This is my job. I am here because I have work to do. And yes, the doubt's going to come in. The imposter syndrome's going to come in. All of the thou shalts are going to stand in front of me and go, seriously, you're naming a character Alucard Ruthven? That is so ridiculous. And I have to just look at it square in the face and tell that dragon, that's the point. You see, I know what it is I'm trying to do. I know the kind of pastiche, the kind of homage that I'm trying to write. So all of those rules about what not to do, some of them have to get broken intentionally and in the right way in order to make the point and to tell the story that I want to tell. And you're going to have to do that too. You're going to have to find those places where you need to just tell the rules to shut up. And this is where fighting gets us in trouble because it bogs us down. If we're engaged in a battle against our doubts and our insecurities, we're not actually working on doing the things that we want to do. If we're bogged down in worry and anxiety about all of the things that could or might happen or could or might go wrong, we are never, ever going to get to finished. We're never going to get to done. And if we don't push on, if we don't push through, if we don't fight through it, what's the point? Well, the point is to not engage. Okay, so the doubts come up. Oh, I'm a failure. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. I mean, we have a restaurant. We've been running it for like 9 years. So that's fine. It's fine. Yeah, failure. Yeah, I've met some amazing people along the road. I've sold books. I have people that read my stuff. See, fame and what society tells us is success is not necessarily what I want from success. And it's probably not what you want either. As you learn to see your resistances, as you learn to see what it is that's pushing you back, pushing you away from that which you want to get to, you will start mastering your craft. Because a lot of the craft of life in general, not to mention our creative goals, is learning to see through these lies. Elizabeth Gilbert in Big Magic talks about externalizing our creative process and referring to it as a muse. And I highly endorse this process. I actually have a statue right there of Ptah, the Egyptian god of creation, the craftsman who made the world. And when I'm here doing my work and that inspiration isn't that fundamental creativity that we all want to feel, that flow state isn't upon us, I take some time and I say some very unkind things. Not because I believe that there's literally a spirit living in that statue, but because I showed up for work. You see, resistance wants me to blame myself. Resistance wants me to go into that shame spiral that keeps me from going forward into those scary places, into those dark domains that it is trying to keep me safe from. Well, I'm here. I'm going to get words down. They may be crap. I may have to edit them a lot and rewrite portions later. But I know what the story is. I know the story that needs to be told. I want to show up and write the words whether or not creativity shows up or not. And that's the mindset you really have to start getting in everything that you do. These demons of doubt, all they're trying to do is keep us safe. But safety, okay, take this with a grain of salt. when I say safety is overrated, like in your life, like don't do stupid things, like be safe. But there's no true harm that's going to come to me from writing a story that people don't like. That's not really going to harm me, right? I need to tell my stories. I need to tell my art. I need to have the courage to write it into the world. The Greeks personified this kind of passion as a leopard that lived in your heart, and that you had to find the courage to leap on its back and ride it into the world, knowing that at any moment it could throw you off and eat you. That's a scary image, but it's a powerful one. We're riding a freaking leopard here. Yeah, it's dangerous, but I'm going to keep it well fed. I'm going to keep it well watered. I'm going to scratch it behind its ears. You get its belly and tell it it's a good boy. But it's still dangerous. But it's only dangerous if we let it be. See, if we take care of it, if we feed it, give it water, give it rest, give it strength, do all those self-care things that we always talk about needing to do, it will be there for us. And it will be our mighty defender in all things. This is where I love having grown up with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, because when I think about that passion inside me, the analogy really works that I have both a Cringer and a Battle Cat. And if I'm not willing to stand up, hold aloft my magic sword and say, by the powers of Grayskull, then Cringer is just going to sit over there cowering in the corner and not help me get anything done. But if I lift that sword up, if I call on the powers of Grayskull and zap that kitty cat with lightning, then, oh yeah, we're going to have a Battle Cat that's going to be at our side, fighting and kicking butt all the way to the goal and beyond. And I wish I could tell you exactly what it is for you that will help you get there. For me, like I said, it's very simple. Learning not to fight. Learning that it's just a distraction. It's those annoying voices whispering in your ear telling you bad things. Don't give in. Don't fall into the muck. Don't slide in. Because once you slide in, it's harder to pull yourself out. But once you pull yourself out, don't get distracted by the voices again. All of those doubts, they're not real. They are illusions. And I know this for a fact in my own life. And I've seen it in so many of my friends. So there you are. That's what we need to be doing. We need to see our goals that are set out in front of us. We need to see the goals that we want to hit. We need to make those milestones as clear as we possibly can. Figure out the path that we want to cut through to get there, and just stick with the plan. When the plan does need to be fixed, fix it. But learn to discern the difference between actual analytical thought on how to fix things and those doubts that are meant to just make you camp out and not get anything done and not get any progress. Because that is where madness lies. That's where we have to fight back. And that's mainly fighting with ourselves, not with the doubt. Because it's so tempting. It's like a warm blanket. I love sitting in my doubt because it keeps me from the scary things of having to get work out, of having to show it to people. And you may not think that you love your doubt, but if you dig down deep, there's a part of you that is grateful to the security that it brings you, letting you not have to actually engage with the world, not have to actually engage with the progress, with the process, and how scary it is. Yeah. So learn to see that in yourself. Learn to find those things that you are using to keep you from that dark jungle, to keep you from cutting through and finding the hidden tombs and the wonderful treasures that you know are out there. Because 9 times out of 10, they're just resistance trying to keep you safe. And this is why frustration doesn't help us. This is why struggle doesn't help us, because that's giving in and doing exactly what resistance wants us to do. And I'm tired of playing the game. And I say that often, but I have to. And you do too. Because every time it sticks its head up, and you just wave, hi, how you doing, little resistance? Bye. I'm going to go over here and do my thing now. And you can learn how to do that too. I have faith in you. I believe that we can achieve the things that we want to achieve as long as we keep our focus and aren't afraid to go into that dark night and find what we're looking for. Thank you ever so much for listening. This has been the first podcast that I have recorded live on Twitch, which you can find me at twitch.tv/CE Dorset. I hope you join me over there. I am going to actually be hanging out on the stream a little bit longer after I record the podcast to do questions and answers and talk to the audience, because I've just recorded this the way that you heard it, just straight through. But I want to try to find ways to incorporate the audience a little bit more over there. So why don't you come join me? It will be on my schedule probably on Thursdays at around 2 Eastern. Keep an eye out. Be doing this more often. Until next time, though, remember, we got to go out there and fight Asian hate. We need to remind the idiots who do not believe that Black Lives Matter, that Black Lives Matter, that Black Trans Lives Matter, and that trans identities are magical. And until we meet again, may you have the courage to go out and ride your dreams into reality. And don't forget to have the fun. Bye. And there we go. That's tomorrow's podcast. This was a little bit weird. I actually didn't even have the chat up during this because I had a script that I wanted to keep to and to hold to. So hopefully it wasn't too weird having me just talk for a while. I got to figure out exactly how I want to do the podcast recording over here. But for now, this is how I'm going to be doing it. So I already said hello to a couple of you. Hello, Spence. How are you doing? Woke up in the middle of a meltdown. It's particularly good timing. Yeah, I felt like a lot of people needed to hear this. This is something I've really been struggling with. And I just really wanted to put it out there and be as strong and as like share the insights that I've gotten, because I found it very helpful to kind of mythologize elements of my life so that I can get my way through them. Yeah, recognizing that doubt is difficult. Yeah. Right? Yeah, this is so true. Seeing your way through is one of the hardest parts, starting to actually recognize it and seeing it for what it is, because it's so many of us react in this way of seeing it as a villain, and it's not a villain. It's actually there trying to keep us safe. It's an over-controlling mother character that we see in so much fiction. It's that helicopter mom that's just like, no, if you go out into the real world, that's where the danger is. Stay here with me. And, you know, in my mind, I kind of see it as a spider that's just trying to keep me where I am in the web. Mr. Spence says my rules internalized as a young person. Yep, you're wasting time playing. Yeah. And this is the thing that we have to ask ourselves, especially in this modern world, right? One of my big problems is I hear the voice of my mother telling me that I spend too much time playing with my imaginary friends, and I'm like, but that's how I tell stories, is I hang out with my imaginary friends and tell stories about them. Like that's my job now. And yeah. Yep, you gotta I gotta be me. Hello, Laura. How are you doing today? Sometimes the negative voices are yep. Yes, sometimes they are. And I don't want to lessen that. I just think for a lot of us, we have to learn coping mechanisms, especially for someone in like positions like I've been in for the last few years, where I cannot afford anxiety medications. I cannot afford the treatment that I know I should be having. And so while it's not perfect, and I would never claim it to be perfect, I have developed ways of getting through and getting around. And hopefully I will get to a place in my life where I can afford those medications and it will become a lot easier then. But also for those who aren't quite in that place, this is something that comes for us all. Yeah, this is something that definitely comes for us all. Yes. Yes. I was, yeah, very much 100% agree. Doubt is the familiar. See, I just set up your clarinet goals. Yes, you could do it, CB. You could do it. Ah, thanks for the hearts. Thanks for the hearts. Let's see. Just you were just nodding and smiling through the whole thing. Well, I'm glad you liked it. The full recording will be out. See, the audio recording will be out tomorrow on the podcast, and the video of this will be over on my YouTube channel because I finally got that set up to work. Yes, that is a very good analogy because yeah, it does try to hold us down. It does try to keep us in. It's dangerous out there, and I want to have that companion inside that like that wonderful old man who's just like, it's dangerous out here. Here, take this. Just like hands you the sword and like, just go out, get it. You can do it. This is a surprise. Yeah, this was actually Kat's idea to be streaming at this time between VTM and Coffee Bunny. And I'm just having a bit of a chit chat. Let's see, set up to. Yeah, I'm trying to set up my goals to get back into playing piano again because it's been such a long time since I've played. It doesn't quite feel like the first time because I have some muscle memory, but it's been that connection between seeing sheet music and my fingers moving. There's a delay there that I don't like that I need to burn off again. So yeah, I've started setting goals as well. I will never do a practice music exam. I feel that. I feel that. Here, take this. Yeah, exactly. Right? We all need that, like that old man in the back of our head. The opposite of the kind of person who would be Mushu in Mulan, right? I don't know. I kind of feel like my muse is Mushu. Like it's one of the reasons why like one of my favorite go-to expressions is, dishonor on you, dishonor on you cow. Like I kind of feel like I have a little Mushu that follows me around and gets me into all kinds of trouble. Just all kinds of trouble. It would be one of the back matter what. Yeah, that's the goal. That's what I'm striving for. That's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah, we just I just finished the recording of the podcast. It will be up as a VOD in just a bit once I'm done. And if you have any questions, I would love to help and answer with them. And welcome to the channel. But the podcast, the VOD will be up on Twitch like shortly after the stream is over, and the podcast will be out tomorrow, and the video will be over on my YouTube in a couple days because there's got to be a delay there because them's the Twitch rules. You have to have a 2-day delay, or so I'm told. All right, so what time is it? Okay, so it is now 2:07 my time. I think we have what? Let's see, Coffee Bunny starts at 3:30, if I'm remembering correctly. So we will go for just a little bit longer, and because I was kind of wanting to raid over into the Coffee Bunny Cafe. Um, but yeah, it's been a rough couple weeks for me, just like on the inside of my head, and it's all been just an illusion, you know. And just if I can circle back to the moral of the story, because the moral for me is very clear. Just realize and recognize that when those doubts start popping up, when they're there, it's starting to it's the moment of breakthrough for me was realizing that those are a self-defense mechanism and not an enemy. They're problematic because they're keeping me from getting to where I need to go, but they're actually trying to keep me safe. And one of the things that's helped with that, as far as like public speaking, because they used to be really bad when I'd have to go give talks at a place or doing the streams or the podcast or any of that, it was getting that little resistance mind to understand that they're not actually dangerous. Like, this is not harmful. Like, it's uncomfortable, especially like at a convention when doing a panel or something like that. It can be uncomfortable, especially when you're on a writer's row. Like, if you've never had that experience, like, you need to psychologically prep yourself for it and be better than me and don't have whiskey under the table. But um, you need to psychologically prepare yourself for that, because every time somebody walks by, and they don't do it to be mean, they're usually probably just caught up in whatever conversation they're having, but they don't even glance towards the table that you're sitting at, your brain will speak up and tell you, oh, you're so bad for XYZ reason that they don't even want to look at you. They don't even want to acknowledge that you exist, when honestly, you're probably not in their thought processes at all. They probably didn't even notice that you were there. And yeah, you're not, it's not actually a problem. But yeah, getting that into your consciousness is a really, really important thing to do. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. I remember at one convention where my anxiety was just on fire that weekend, because he who shall not be named did the thing that shall not be spoken of and caused all manner of problems and chaos. I actually had a rum fairy at that convention. It's that tradition started at that convention, who would see the stress on my face and just like flit over. And when I say rum fairy, like, she was dressed in like full steampunk regalia with all the leather and the cogs and all the gloriousness, but also had beautiful fairy wings. Um, would just flutter over and pour rum into a glass and put it down in front of me and be like, "It will be better," and go off. And in my mind, I kind of chalked that up as, oh wow, this is kind of like in Zelda, like, you're the little healing fairy that's come to bring me my magic potion to make it all better. Um, right? She was amazing. She was amazing. Yeah, and it was so funny because it got to the point where when I was really, really stressed, she told me, she was like, "Just give me a sign," and I would just get really, really stressed, and I would just hold the cup up, and she would just appear out of nowhere and pour more rum. Sometimes it was a dark and stormy, because I love a good dark and stormy, but it would be a rum based something into the cup, and it was magical, and it was a hilarious weekend, because it was nice to have somebody there who was like understood the chaos that was going on and helping to make it good, make it through. which is like the one thing I didn't really talk about in the podcast, is having that support system that will be there and will have your back, because your mind will lie to you and tell you that that support system is not there, that it is a lie. And it's really hard to deny it when it's very like viscerally in your face. It's very hard to deny it. Let's see. I never really been to a convention. I love them. I went to my first convention when I was 10, and I just like walked in and had that moment of, these are my people. And I have not stopped going ever since. They are amazing. Once you find, especially when you find some that, like, there are people that I have known for 20, 30 years because of conventions. Let's see. How do you not feel like you're procrastinating and wasting time by filling the well? This is a big one. See, I employ my imagination in a lot of what I do. I really, like, when I say live magically, I'm not saying that you need to take up like the craft or anything. Like, that's fine if that's something that you want to do, but giving yourself, I'm a very imaginative critter. And so I will actually visualize a low battery symbol, like generally on my chest. I'll like look down and I'll just visualize a low battery thing on my chest that needs filling, because I know that there are certain types of games and music and stuff that will refill my creative well. And so I turn it, I kind of play a game with myself, because I turn a lot of things into games. It's how I actually get most of what I do done. And so I turn it into a game, and I just kind of imagine the power cell being empty and needing charging. And I run off and do the thing that will help recharge it. I don't know how well that would work for you, or if it would. I do know for a fact, though, that if I'm world building, there are certain types of games that I have to play, or my brain will just stop functioning, because there's a certain amount of processing that's going on in the background that I need to not be consciously aware of. And I need that distraction. So I don't know if that helps, but if you have follow-ups, let me know. Woohoo! Yeah, I didn't even load it up over there, so I have no idea what's going on the Twitch side. I really don't, because I knew if I didn't go ahead and get things started, then I wouldn't get things started. So I just started. Which is also my other like secret to doing things, is just running in head first and making it happen. But yeah, and also, like, I let myself indulge in obsessions. This is the one thing that that is, I think, obvious to a lot of people. Like, I love this band. I love this band with all my heart, because they have the same sense of humor that I do. And I get the jokes in their music. I love the jokes that they post to Twitter and Instagram. I love the fan community that has grown around them. And so by participating in that fandom, I get a lot of that recharging throughout my day, because I'll be scrolling through Twitter or Instagram, and I'll see, what, Cardinal Copier is doing, or what Phobias is doing. Oh my goodness, the videos that Phobias has been doing lately. And that added creativity really keeps me charged up. And also, I know that, like, when I'm having a bad mood or a bad place, I can just start singing one of their songs and probably start laughing and move forward. So yeah, obsessions, they're wonderful. You said low battery, and I thought Baymax. Actually, that's one of the things that I generally, yeah, yeah, that's very much in my mind too. Very Baymax in there. Low battery in my mind equals the first arc reactor. That is a beautiful, beautiful analogy. I when I was really having some issues with my depression trying to come back, I would actually take the ring light that I have over here, that turn it that way so it's not doing anything, and I literally put it under my shirt but on the low light setting, just so I could see the low light on my chest. Because again, I find that keeping that sense of play is vital. It's so important to getting through all of this stuff, because the anxiety, everything, all of those things, they want to tap down that sense of play. It's why I make so many bad cracks about adulting, because yes, I got to pay bills and I've got to do all that. Like, we run a business, like we do that. But if you lose that sense of play, it's gonna be a lot easier to get torn down. Let's see, you finally watch TV again. Woohoo! And since you finished middle grade, let's see, your TV has been mostly decoration for 2 years. TV shows help me out a lot. I just finished watching A Discovery of Witches. We're now caught up on that. So we've watched season 1 and 2. Highly recommend it. It was cute. It was good. I enjoyed it. Going to be doing something with Amber actually on my YouTube channel. We're going to do a collab on there talking about A Discovery of Witches, because she's read the books and I haven't. And I think it's going to be very interesting to have my personal perspective, having not read the books, and hers having read the books. And yeah, we're going to be doing a thing about that, and I'm excited about that. But yeah, find those things that really help a lot. Playing pretend. Yes. See, I think we have this idea that playing pretend is childish. And I mean, it can be. Like, if somebody's trying to have like a serious conversation with you and you're just like, but I need to go pick the flowers or the fairies, like, there's a place and time for everything, right? But this is one of our great superpowers that we have, both as human beings and as, writers, creatives, and things of that nature. And keeping that play in our lives. Like, it's one of the reasons why, like, I'm surrounded by, plushies. And a lot of that was, I wasn't really allowed to have plushies as a kid. And so I have all of them now. I actually have a lot that aren't up there because I picked and chose what I have behind me. But it's one of the reasons why I'm, surrounded by toys. And I have toys all over my desk, from my papas over here, because I have all 4 papas lined up on the desk over there. I've got my Gizmo over here. Up here, I've got all my little Steven Universe toys. And keeping that sense of play is so important for us. Like, we have to do that. See, the way I visualize it is as if the well is dry, and it doesn't matter how often I lower the bucket into it, it will still be empty. Ooh, see, I have feels about that one. See, I think if we're gonna get like really honest here for a minute, I think all of us have access to this underground well of creativity that is always around us and that is always there. And sometimes we have to dig down really, really deep to find it. But when we hit it, it is just a wellspring that will prop us up and give us strength and help us to get all of the places we want to go. And I think it's there, and I think it's accessible to all of us. Yeah, nano is going to be a thing. Everybody be careful for National Novel Writers Burnout Month next month. Yeah, super distracting. See, I'm just waiting because Ghost is probably going to drop their next album next month. My assumption is next month because it's probably not going to be till February, but I'm assuming next month because they've been doing a lot of stuff, and that's going to be a major distraction in the middle of Nano because I'm just going to want to sit and listen to it with the lights off and the candles burning because that's the kind of person I am. Playing pretend is childish, and enjoying being childish isn't a moral failing in adults. Very true. I like the way you worded that. You worded that a lot better than I did because it's. I feel like so many of the problems that we have in our world and in our life are born specifically out of a lack of imagination. That we just, if we let ourselves be more creative and be more imaginative, we would have a lot fewer problems in life and in the world. But that's the way it is. Woohoo! That is awesome. That is super cool. See, that is why I love podcasts and audiobooks when I don't have time. Yep, to sit and read. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I am a big fan of audiobooks and kind of want to turn my stuff into audiobooks, but I'm not a good professional reader. I am not. So I'm going to have to figure out how to contract somebody to do that. But yeah, I highly recommend. There's some great audiobooks that are out there. Find a reader that you like and just start going through. That's one of the best ways I found to actually find books to read is by finding a reader that I enjoy and following them around. I just found out yesterday that February 15th is National Hippo Day. Oh, we have to do a thing. Yes. Let's do a whole yes. Yay for National Hippo Day. That's amazing. You recently got your Spotify playlist back on your home, and it's amazing how much quicker. Yeah, right. I have a playlist on my music account that I refer to as the rotation. That's what I named it, and that's all that it is. It sits between probably 500 and 1,000 songs depending on the day of the week, and I am constantly adding and taking songs off of it, and it's just the playlist that I put on when I'm doing things. And it's basically my radio station. And yeah, I don't know what I would do without music. Music is life. Music is life. See, that was your favorite takeaway from the 100-day challenge. That's cool. Day 50 takeaway ran out of references and ideas and had to be metaphorical dynamite into the metaphorical well. Oh yeah. Sometimes you just gotta blow stuff up. I mean, I feel like that's where my entire fantasy world has come from. It's my frustration given life. And it's my own little Frankenstein monster that's out there taking everything down. Right. Okay, so I just started rereading listening to again the Carmilla, the full cast Carmilla audiobook because that's one of my favorite vampire novels, and David Tennant is one of the readers in there. Oh, yes. Also anything with Tim Curry. Tim Curry does a lot of stuff. I'm thinking of him specifically because I have a Dracula with Tim Curry in it that is really, really, really good. Yeah. Find those readers that give you life and follow them. 10th of September is National Alpaca Day. Oh, that is super cool. Definitely should do something for that. So I want to kind of do audiobook readings. So maybe we should talk rates because I've got a bunch of books that I would love to have audiobooks for. And yes, we maybe we should talk. What? National Bat Day is April 17th? I feel like that should be a thing too. We need to make sure to tell Kat that. Kat loves bats. We need to make sure to tell Kat that. Kat's got to know that. That would be really, really cool. So September, the 10th of September, we play the Alpaca Sports Bucket. Is that out? That is out. Oh my goodness. Why didn't I get that? It's been on my wish list. I will have to look at things. Because I meant to buy that. I just remembered that game exists. Okay, so 2's not out until April. Got it. That's probably where I got confused. So you don't understand the hype around David Tennant, but Tim Curry, yes. Oh yeah. David Tennant's really hard to explain. Like I don't know how to explain that one because I feel it. It's a feeling. That's all. I'm just gonna leave it there. But this is gonna get really dirty, and we're not gonna go there. See, I don't know how to do audio editing at all. Well, you know what? Audio engineering is kind of a passion of mine. So that's definitely something that I can help you out with. Let's see. It's not out until April. Oh, goodness. That is insane. All right. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll probably do it again next week. And until then, see you over at Coffee Buddy Cafe. Bye.